Hi, this is One to One with me, Irwin Edgehill. First and foremost, don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, keep leaving your comments and questions in the comment section below. Right, let's get started. I have three questions today. The first question is from Paula in Newcastle, and she asks, Irwin, in your opinion, what do you think life is all about? Great question, Paula. In my opinion, I believe that life is all about an individual such as yourself, such as myself, Paula, working on our inner selves harder than we work on anything else. What do I mean by inner self? So, if an individual is stressed a lot, if an individual hasn't any confidence, if an individual isn't resilient and has got low self-esteem, now that means that that individual is going to be feeling defeated more often than not. Would you agree? So if that individual can work on those elements of their emotions, then all of a sudden that individual is going to feel infinitely better. Unfortunately, Paula, as you can testify to, we live in a society that gets us to do things the opposite way around. So get a good education, get a mortgage, find a nice spouse, get a pension, go on holiday a couple of times a year, maybe have children, and you've made it. This is what society says. But it doesn't say anything about us working on our inner selves. And that's why the vast majority of people who've got those things that I've mentioned, more often than not, aren't really happy. And it's not that they're not happy because they're not grateful, Paula. It's they're not happy because there's something fundamentally not right. And that fundamental thing is the fact that there is an imbalance going on between the material aspects of the things that we gravitate to in this external world, as opposed to the inner aspect of ourselves, our emotions. So if we can work on those emotions, as I've mentioned, and become assertive in the right way, become less stressed more often, become more resilient, become more confident, self-esteem is on a level, then we've got a balance then of the material things of life, but also the inner things of life. And then, only then, in my opinion, are we going to be operating efficiently more often than not. Hope that answers your question. Second question comes from Dave in Ipswich. Thanks for your question, Dave. Dave says, Irwin, in your opinion, what is wrong with people today? As all questions that come through, I always ponder them. And I pondered on this for quite a while, Dave, because it's a really good question in the sense of most people don't ask that question. What is wrong with people today? But we need to take it a step back and ask ourselves, Dave, what is wrong with us? Why are we feeling the way we feel more often than not? And it's interesting, there was an article written on George Bernard Shaw, and the interviewer asked him, Mr. Shaw, what do you think is wrong with men and women today, people in general? And Mr. Shaw said, the trouble is, people just don't think. He said, the average person thinks once or twice a year. Think about that. And he says, they only think once or twice a year, in the main, when the back's against the wall, when they have to do something, when they have to get out of a scrape or something. He said he made an international reputation for himself just by thinking once or twice a week. Now, he went on to say he didn't mean on the everyday level of thinking, I've got to get up for work, you've got to switch the kettle off, you've got to take the washing out the washing machine, that kind of thinking. He was thinking about it on a higher level a level where an individual can be watchful of their own emotions and think, do you know what, I'm not feeling too good today, I need to do something about it, on that level. And the more we can think like that, the more, each and every one of us can think like that in any given moment, we're going to be more balanced, and as a result, we're going to be more happier. So it's basically to think, but on a higher level. Hope that answers your question, Dave. Finally, we have a question from Viv in Ilford. Viv asks, Irwin, how can I find a right man? Good question. I really do believe, Viv, that in order to find a right man or a right woman, or right friends, or a right job, or a right environment, we've got to be right first. In other words, if I'm not all right, or if you're not all right emotionally, so, we get stressed a lot, we get angry a lot, we get irritable a lot, how then can I then think that I can meet somebody, a right woman, or in your case, a right man, whose emotions are balanced, who doesn't get stressed a lot and irritable a lot? It's impossible. So, in order for us to find anything right in this external world, we've got to be right internally. And we can only be right internally, Viv, if we're working on ourselves, as I mentioned in the previous question, if we're working on ourselves harder than we're working on anything else. And, that shouldn't put anybody in a state of despair. It should be really cheery in the sense that, right, okay then, all I need to do is work on myself. That's all I need to do. So if I get stressed a lot, I need to work on de-stressing. If I'm not assertive a lot, I need to work on becoming assertive. If I'm not confident, I need to work on my confidence and self-esteem. And then all of a sudden, by working on those elements of my own life, your own life, Viv, then we're going to become better. We're going to feel better. And then as a result, when we do go out in this external world to meet that right man in your case, then that will happen. That will come together. But if we're not working on ourselves, and as a result we're neglecting ourselves, we don't stand a chance of meeting that right person. Hope that makes sense. That's it in terms of the questions for this week. There have been some really, really good questions, and it's really made me think and ponder. So until next week, look after yourself, stay conscious, and keep your questions coming. Until then, bye for now.